Welcome back, everyone. Today, we are taking a topic that looks very simple on paper, but can quietly become one of the biggest sources of risk in your workforce: independent contractor compliance. I have so many of my customers come and ask me, how do we take care of this? Those cracks rarely show up until a misclassification challenge or an audit request forces everyone to look backwards. We are here to make that visibility proactive. I'm joined by Keith, Pratik, and Puneet. Keith, will you start us off? What is actually going wrong here?
Lots of things going wrong here. What I'm seeing across programs is that you may or may not have suppliers capturing the documentation and the rationale for your IC, but no one unified system can see the end-to-end IC story in one place. So without that unified view, leaders can't easily tell what's complete, what's missing, or what's outdated. The fragmentation is the root governance problem, and this is precisely the gap that an operating layer is meant to solve. So connecting both your internal and your external disparate systems in some way, shape, or form into a single auditable view is really the goal. Second, most IC engagements don't start as formal requests, and they don't follow the happy path that you have designed. It's usually quite chaotic, and usually I met someone who's a great source of talent and I want to use them, or I was at a conference and I'd like to bring this person on, and then they do, and then your suppliers are trying to figure out how to manage that person, usually after the fact, or often after the fact. So all the due diligence that they chaotically put together, your suppliers, it's invisible to the rest of your organization. So no one else sees how the decision was made, what was and wasn't checked, or whether the file stayed current. That creates a governance blind spot before the engagement ever even begins.
I think that there's a couple of more points that I would add on here too. There's an element of maker checker, or trust but verify. And today, when you look at IC compliance, like you said, it's being managed in a separate system. And the verification component of that, you're relying on that provider or whoever it is that's managing that compliance piece, that they're doing the steps that they need to be doing. And I wish there was an automated workflow where you would have flags that would help you understand that, oh, you know what? It's been about 6 months since that person has joined us. Are they still compliant from how we think about from an independent contractor and how we need to manage independent contractor risk? So if there was some way to do that, I think that would be good. And I think the other pain point to think about is just how reactive we are in this process. Like, we need an audit or a dispute to be able to really kind of understand, oh boy, you know what? I'm not so sure about that. Let me go check my records and see what did we do in terms of due diligence from an IC compliance perspective. So those are also blind spots that I think we need to be kind of careful about. What do you think, Puneet? Does Hummingbird have a solution here when it comes to IC compliance and bring more visibility to the problem at hand?
Thank you, Pratik. And I'll take the word from you, visibility. It all boils down to visibility, right? How can you create visibility? And I would like to also describe what Hummingbird doesn't do. It's not verifying documents. You are not classifying your ICs on Hummingbird. But what it is doing is it is connecting your entire ecosystem, the hiring ecosystem. So the first is where we connect with your EOR systems, other system, and bring the data which is required for visibility without touching any PI information, right? So very sensitive information we are not touching. We are just bringing data in and showing you what is pending, what is missing, what is complete, and you have in one dashboard the complete status of things. Another thing is, how do we make it actionable? And I'm taking the cue from you, Keith. Automated workflow as well. How can you automate that workflow? So what Hummingbird does is, so you set your rules in. So let's say there is a review required for certain documents, or there certain documents are expired, for example. So it will trigger automated workflows to the EOR provider. and ask them to, let's say, review those documents or submit those documents in that particular system again. So what you are doing is you are creating automation in terms of not having somebody manually checking things and missing out on things or forgetting things here. Another thing is when you see that you are going from a reactive to proactive approach. So it's a big shift. So in a reactive approach, it's audit led. Whenever you will have audit, you will find gaps. Now here you are being proactive. So you are not taking actions based on audit, but you are getting audit ready yourself by automating the workflow. So Hummingbird is not going to replace your systems or any organization system. It's going to connect them in a unified way. So you have visibility of your compliance and you are compliant at all times. So that's how Hummingbird brings that uniformity and governance into the IC compliance space.
No, thank you, Puneet. I think that what you're describing would help to address a lot of the pain points. Maybe if I can share one perspective from what I heard from you, which is really that the blind spots exist, but you can fix visibility if you have an understanding of where your problems are, and then you can fix the behavior. And I think Hummingbird can potentially do that. What do you think, Keith?
I love that. I mean, you can have all the information that you need, but if it's in a supplier system or some disparate systems and you can't see it, then you don't really have governance, you have risk. So I like that Hummingbird makes all of that very visible to you.
So, Puneet, do you have any last words?
So Anju, it's all about visibility and Hummingbird precisely doing that, but at the same time keeping PII information separate in the system it exists, but still giving governance as well as automation into the IC compliance space.
So, pretty evident, IC compliance is just not a legal responsibility. The operations also have a responsibility to it. The organizations that win are the ones that create visibility across all systems and pair it with automated workflows so that governance is consistent and auditable. If you like what you've heard today, right, and you want to follow Hummingbird on LinkedIn for insights and updates, please do reach out to us. We will share with you how exactly Hummingbird unifies IC visibility without exposing sensitive PI and lets your EOR team stay ahead through automated workflows. So please request for a demo with Hummingbird and all of us will be happy to share it with you. So thank you for joining us today and we will see you in the next episode.